Today we're going to talk about MCP, which was released by Anthropic last year. And the structure here is that we go into an intro, what's MCP, then a demo. So basically talk about a current workflow in the ride and a walkthrough. In the blog post from Anthropic, the MCP is a open standard that enables developers to build secure two-way connections between the data and also the AI power tools. So in this case, like we're going to use, for example, AI agents, as well as like other tools like Calendar and Gmail. The architecture is straightforward, where developers can either expose their data through MCP servers or build applications, MCP clients that connects to these servers. So you can use servers and also like you can create. Here we're going to create as well as like use the created ones. This is mainly a chatbot, so we can make some, we can prompt him, and yeah, let's give it a shot. For example, the first one, which is the news agent, and for example, let's try prompt like give me the latest AI news from today. And while it's loading, I'm going to show you quickly the news AI agent here, the workflow. So basically is going to be executed by when another workflow calls him. And then basically it's calling, it has a AI agent, which has like, again, OpenAI for O, and then a simple memory and the get AI news here. The agent here has a very simple prompt. Okay, so basically give me the latest AI news from today, and then a today here as a string, and then as a system message, basically you are a helpful assistant, and then again like today, this is the current daytime. And then for the getting AI news, which is interesting, like here you can use definitely Perplexity, but another tool that you can use as well is GPT-4o Search Preview. And why I used here as a tool, because you can use as a tool, you can use, for example, as a AI assistant from OpenAI here, like a chat model, for example, then you can put the agent here. But why I use like that, because you can have the perspective of having like an agent, so you can retry, so have more control of your system. Okay, and that's basically it. And you can definitely test this workflow, right? So this is currently going to get the latest AI news, for example, from today. And let's wait a bit. No, because I want to see the markdown. Let's go ahead and try another one. As a JSON, no, the output here, put the output there, here, cool. Just for us to be able to see that, okay, in a markdown way. Perfect, this is fine. So basically you can see, yeah, here are the latest news, and then OpenAI here, and then the first news, and then the URL below, and then yeah, that happens for the 5 news as well, which is perfect, exactly what we requested. So let's go ahead and delete this one and then save again and go back to the main workflow in the MCP here. Okay, so from this prompt you can see that the model correctly replied with all the things we requested, basically all the news, and then you can, if you click here in learn more, this is basically going to give you, this is the direct URL here, which is perfect. Amazing. That's the first MCP server we created. Another MCP server that we create, we're going to create actually, is going to be this one from the Google Calendar as well. So this is a simple example where I have like 3 calls that I invented, and then we can ask, for example, the agent to provide us with the latest 3 events, for example. So give me the latest events from today. From my calendar, right? Because it can interpret as being, for example, the latest events from AI, and then it's going to call the wrong MCP server. And this is perfect, yeah. So it's currently giving me the the correct tree. So you can have call Steve study call. The only point is that is in reverse, right? So this is the last one, this is the first one. That's the only thing. Cool. And then finally, we can use as well the Gmail, which is very cool. So let's use the Gmail in this case, the MCP server, so that we can send an email. So send an email for me and provide the latest news from today, formatted not in Markdown. It's going to take a while, but basically what this is going to make is basically going to work with both MCPs. The first MCP to get the iNews, and then the other MCP to send the email. And then once that email is here, I'm going to grab him. So it's pretty cool because you can see here that you have like the simple memory as well, and then you can see the models here, calling the MCP news agent, and then the Gmail tool as well. Cool. I've sent an email. Let me just get the email here. Perfect. So it did pass to not a markdown. That's cool, but the email misses, for example, some paragraphs, but it's kind of like perfect. Yeah, the only thing probably missing is you can remove this as well. But yeah, probably the only thing missing is the URL, so we can fix that. So send an email for me to provide the latest news from today, formatted not in Markdown. Jump lines for each paragraph, and finally put the links to each news at the end of each one. Let's see if they're going to if this is going to help. Actually, I've sent the email. Let's go ahead and try again to refresh my inbox, and amazing. That's a bit better, right? Here are the latest news from today. They didn't jump the paragraph here, but yeah, that's finally something we can treat. And then you can see, for example, that you have the URLs. That's perfect. Cool. And finally, yeah, this email was sent automatically. You don't want that, of course. And I think for that, let's fix that. The way to do it, I think, is in send emails. Append n8n, and then you have to remove this one. I'm almost sure that's the problem. Let's try again. Amazing. There we can also see like the simple memory as well. Let's go into the inbox once again, refresh it, and no, I didn't see anything. Let's try again. What happened? Oh, sorry, yeah, I messaged the wrong thing. This one, sorry. Let's try again. Now calling the correct ones. Cool. I've sent an email with the latest news. Let's refresh the inbox. Here it is. Of course, like they can jump, but finally, yeah. So all the things from previous, but basically they didn't say anything about like this email was sent by n8n. Amazing. Last piece. This is going to be the walkthrough from the workflow, but I thought it was interesting to go ahead and just create from scratch with you, right? So first of all, what we need is the agent. Cool. who's going to call the agent in this case is going to be like a chatbot. Perfect. And for the model, we can think about it. First, OpenAI. You can use any model you want. Let's go ahead and put for O since I tested, but again, you can use whatever model you prefer. Amazing. And then for the memory, let's put like a simple memory just to make things simpler. And finally, as the tool. So the tool is kind of like the thing that we're going to call the MCP, right? So first of all, like this is a working chatbot, right? So if we ask, like, for example, hi, how are you? Something like that, it's going to answer like a chatbot because they're already a chatbot. Amazing. So yeah, I'm ready to help. How can I assist you today? But what we want is to be able to call those MCP servers from Anthropic, right? So how to do it? So n8n just release the MCP. You can have client. This is from the community, something that I downloaded as a node, but they released this server trigger here. And this is basically a server trigger that is basically a server, MCP server. So this is kind of like connecting. You can connect, remember the things we discussed about the MCP, which I can't find right now, but basically connecting your agent with your current data. And then that's kind of like the thing that you can do. So basically connecting the data, and this data, in this case, it's kind of like the MCP server, where you can use other MCP servers. For example, those MCP servers in GitHub, which is very well used, or those ones, or you can actually create your own MCP server, which we're going to do here today. Cool. So how can we do that? So first of all, like this is the MCP server trigger, and I want, for example, to call the calendar. Okay, one of the tools that we actually had called, and this is, for example, to get from a list of events. This is my mail, please don't spam me, and yeah, that's it. And the event ID, no, I think that's fine. Who's gonna, yeah, you can find, for example, the model to do that, to right there. Perfect. Now you have the MCP server here, and then let's see if you can test. No, in the testing, basically it's going to wait you call this server. So let's go ahead and, for example, test with the agent here. So how can you do that? You have to call an MCP here, and in this case, it's going to be a tool, and I'm going to use this tool, for example, from the community. Let me just see. No, actually, I think we can use this one actually. So that's fine. So it's not from community. And how can we use that? So first of all, we have to use, for example, the production URL. So copy that, paste here. There's no authentication, and yeah, I think that's fine. So if we, first of all, we have to activate that to test that. And let's go ahead and say that this path is going to be, for example, the calendar, because that's going to be important for us. And this is going to be the MCP from calendar. Cool. Let's go ahead and call the MCP calendar. MCP calendar. Cool. Let's go ahead and test that. So first of all, for testing, we have to say anything. So give me the latest events. Could not communicate to MCP server. Let's understand why. So you have the authentication here, the all, and then no authentication, that's correct. The path here, we changed the path. So basically in production, it's going to be this one. Perfect. Let's go ahead and change that here in the SSE endpoint. Save that. Let's try again. Give me the latest events. Perfect. Now it's working. And yeah, could you please provide the event ID from the events, like for me to know something? So let's go ahead, I think, and do, this is the my name. And the event ID, let's go ahead, instead of like get many. Yeah, that's cool. That's perfect actually. So we're going just to return 5 for the model if we request it, for example, within like after the model can decide this, and the model, let's not decide that because yeah, we're not going to use that actually too much, so 5 is fine. Let's go ahead and try again. Give me the latest news. So it's calling the server. How can I help you today? Of course, didn't. Okay, this one. Sorry for messaging wrongly. No, it's cool. The AI agent is calling the GPT-4o as well as like calling the MCP calendar. And perfect, yeah, we get it. So we have like, yeah, a bunch of stuff from 2023. Interesting. So give me the events from today. Those ones that we created actually. That's wrong. Okay, no problem. Let's see why that's wrong. So get many from the list, return all. I think that's something the model can decide. It's a event set automatically, get many correct, and then there's no field. I think that's fine. Let's try again. Let's first remove, so refresh it, and then let's try again with the open chat from my calendar. Cool. So yeah, for some reason, giving the latest news from today from a calendar, it is wrong, which is interesting. Authentication, no. Just include, no. So it's definitely hallucinating. So let's understand. Okay, so first of all, like we have the chat input here that we're going to call. Let's add a system message, in this case, like your helpful assistant, and then we can think about this is the current, actually have it here. So you have the current date time here, you just have to change for it. Expression, so you have to pass for the model. In this case, this is the current date. So let's try again, save, and then send here. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. So we have like the call to steady and call Steve. Amazing. This is the first MCP server. Let's just summarize the other two, right? So the other one is from the Gmail. Let's go ahead and change the email here to call Gmail. This is going to be Gmail. And you copy this, connect over Gmail tool, go ahead here, the model can define this, subject hello world, the model can define this, HTML model can define this as well. Again, remembering to say not to append as n8n attribution. I think everything's fine, right? So yeah, I think it's fine. Let's see. Let's put that here. Create a new tool here in the AI agent, so that we want to create, for example, a calendar. Let's copy this one actually, which is easier. Put here. Grab again the production SSC. Put that here. MCP call Gmail. Perfect. Change SSC. Cool. And let's test. So send me an email saying hi. Let's see if that's going to work. Let me just refresh my inbox so that I know them. Amazing. And if we see, for example, yes. So yeah, at 0 minutes ago, basically you have a hi. So it's fully working. Amazing. Finally, we have the last MCP server, which is the MCP server that calls another workflow, right? So this is going to be the workflow from AI agent news, where this is going to call AI agent. Let's change here for AI agent. And for the tools here, we have to select call n8n workflow 2, which is going to call another n8n, just to not consume a lot of time. Basically, what did I put here is the name is basically call news function. You can totally change that in the future. Call this to get the latest news from today. And finally, we have from ID, because I already have the ID right here, which is perfect. By ID, just put the ID here. If we click here, we're going to be driven to the correct workflow agent. That's perfect. So call n8n, just put AI agent here, and then finally just put the tool here as being another MCP client tool, and then the SSC. No, let's grab from this guy here, the production. Here it is, and paste here. Amazing. This is going to be the call MCP AI agent. Cool. Put this here to be kind of organized. Not perfectly organized, but that's fine for now. And then let's see. So give me the latest AI news. It's calling the MCP AI agent. If we go for this workflow, you can see that is currently running based on the execution that we requested, which is pretty interesting and cool. So for example, it's running. Amazing. So finally, you can see all the news here, which is very well written, and yeah, basically everything is fine, and then text fine, perfect, and then if you click here, you can see read more. Hope you liked the video, and thanks for watching.